Hey guys, it is take 7 of this video, and that is partly because my wife continues to find things in the background and in the foreground that she doesn't like, and she said we have to make sure that we had greenery in this, so she ran and got this little plant. So I hope you all appreciate this little plant, whatever it may be. But hey, listen, Governor has said starting this Saturday, we can hit the golf courses. We can finally get out on the golf courses. And so let me tell you something, that's how you know revival is coming to the state of New Jersey. No, seriously, that is it's good news because it's more leeway that we're getting. And hopefully it's a good sign that we're starting to return to some kind of normalcy. And you know, it does make me think on a more serious note that even though we're gonna start going back to normalcy, that there are many people on the front lines who will continue to work and they'll continue to make a difference in our community. And we so appreciate them. We appreciate what they do every day, going in really as heroes and making a difference and caring for people who can't care for themselves. They are the reason why we are coming out of this the way we are. And so we genuinely do appreciate them. If you know someone who's on the front lines, make sure to do something nice for them. Make sure that to let them know how much you appreciate all that they do. But it has made me think that there are people going through adversities that are beyond coronavirus. There are some that are inside their homes and they're struggling with maybe a relationship. Maybe they're struggling with financial issues. Are they going to have a job? Maybe other health concerns, cancer, and so forth. And as we think about these things, it made me think about Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, which is really a text that we had a few weeks before we went into the semi-quarantine. And it says this: finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Paul says, make sure you're thinking on the right things, that you're putting those right things into your spirit. If you remember in January of 2019, for those of you who were attending Calvary Hill Church at that time, I preached a series that basically talked about habits. Matter of fact, it was called Habits. And it said that we all have uphill hopes, but downhill habits. We want this, but we're headed towards this. And really what we need to do is to align our habits in the direction of our hope. Everything that we want in life that is worth having is uphill. It's going to be an uphill climb. It's going to be difficult to attain. When we start finally getting towards those uphill hopes, adversity tends to push us back down into downhill habits. And what we have to do is to make sure that adversity is not something that pulls us downward, but we actually push it in the right direction and make even adversity work for us. For instance, you know, one of the things that adversity can do is it can actually reveal things about us that are good, but it can also reveal a lot of things about us that are not good. It can reveal who we really are. And hey, fair warning, that's not always pleasant to see. That's not always an easy thing to see. I know for myself, sometimes adversity shows things about me that I don't like, and things that I have to surrender and allow Christ to develop in me to become a better person and to become who He wants me to be. Because here's what we know: adversity is going to come to all of us. Good and bad is going to come to all of us. But if we look at it from a positive standpoint, we're going to come out better in the end. It's not because life necessarily gets better. It's because we are learning to see the positives in every adverse situation. And we also know that if we go through adverse situations and only see the negative, we're going to come out even worse because we failed to see the positives in it. And so it's better for us to choose the positive view, as Paul talked about here in Philippians chapter 4, and to think on the right things so that we can find the good things in every situation that comes our way. In other words, we have to learn to feed faith, to feed the faith that God wants us to have, and that we should starve the fears and the anxieties and the anger in our lives. Proverbs 4:23 says this, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Guard your heart. If you focus on fear, it's going to expand. If you focus on anxiety, it's going to expand. If you focus on anger, it's going to expand. But if you focus on faith, it's going to expand. I heard the story of an old Native American grandfather speaking to his grandson, and he says, there's a fight going on inside of me. It's a terrible fight, and it's between two wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. Then he continued. He said, the other wolf is good. He is joy, peace, love, hope, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. And then he looked at his grandson and he said, the same fight is going on inside of you and inside of every other person. And the grandson asked his grandfather, he said, which wolf will win? And the wise grandfather looked at him and said, whichever wolf you feed. And so I would ask you this, just as I've asked myself when I read this story. Which wolf am I feeding? And we know, obviously, it's not really a wolf. But are we feeding our faith, or are we feeding anger? Are we starving our faith, or are we starving anger? Are we feeding anxiety, or are we starving it? Are we feeding disappointment, or are we starving it? What are we doing with what we have? The adversities that come our way, what are we feeding and what are we starving? Because the truth is, in all of these things, whatever we feed is going to win. It's going to get stronger. We want to come out of this stronger than when we went in, not weaker. Hebrews 13:6 says this, so we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? The Lord is my helper. Think about that. I don't have to be afraid of anything. And so I want to encourage you to feed the right things. Feed the things that build you up. Starve the things that tear you down. You've heard me say this before. Ann and I can't wait to be able to worship with you again very, very soon. We miss you. We talk about you in our home. Thank you for commenting on the videos and giving your insights into this. Tell us what God is doing in your lives. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for those who continue to give and invest at Calvary Hill Church through giving, whether it's on the website or online banking or sending it in mail, whatever it is. Thank you so much for investing. And really, as we continue to lead people to become fully devoted followers of Jesus Christ, we're all in this together. We may be in the semi-quarantine, but the mission hasn't stopped. We look forward to worshiping with you. And as we come together, our prayer is we come together stronger, not weaker, that we are feeding the right things and making a difference in our world. God bless you. We look forward to seeing you very soon.